Right now at 6, food share benefits are set to run out at the end of the week. We're live at the River Food Pantry as demand for their services are on the rise.
And a budget has been approved for the Madison School District, what it means for the average homeowner's property tax bill.
Plus, the Henry Vila Zoo has a new resident. We'll meet the 1,200-pound bear checking out the new digs. And we welcome you now to News 3 Now at 6. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for watching. I'm Sarah Carlson.
And I'm Eric Franke. The government shutdown with no end in sight. And for some Wisconsinites, concern is mounting as food share benefits will not be renewed on November 1st if the government is not reopened.
And this has also put extra pressure on local food banks. Some saying they have seen an influx in families seeking food assistance. And that's where we find our Jalen Banks, who's live from the River Food Pantry. Jalen, what are you hearing from the pantry?
Sarah and Eric, I've been here at the River Food Pantry since about 2 o'clock, and I can tell you there's been a steady flow of people pretty much the entire time that I've been here. The River Food Pantry is just now wrapping things up at 6 o'clock, and the River Food Pantry has been serving the Madison Metro for about 20 years. But I spoke with the executive director earlier today, and she shares with me that this week in particular has been one of the busiest they've ever seen. The River Food Pantry has been around for nearly 20 years. But this week has been one of its busiest weeks ever. The food pantry served nearly 500 families on Tuesday alone and over 900 meals. I had the chance to speak with the director of the food pantry on how they plan to navigate this difficult time.
I was talking to a mother who said, like, I can do without a meal. I can skip a meal, but this isn't right for my kids. There's a lot of these stories, and they're real. These people are working families, and it's not enough money to go around.
The pantry thought they would see more people next week after food share benefits in the state ran out, but they're already seeing the squeeze now.
I get full benefits, and well, how am I supposed to eat and get food if I don't get my food share, my EBT?
And Karen says more now than ever, she'll have to lean on places like the River Food Pantry for help.
What I would like to say to the people who are watching the show is I am blind and visually impaired, and I am disabled. And I used to be a very hard worker. And due to my circumstances, and which can happen to anyone in society, I have ended up on the low income scale, which is a poverty level.
Now, tens of thousands of Wisconsinites rely on food share benefits throughout the state. So it's not just an issue that we're seeing here in Dane County and in our viewing area, but across the state. So it's something that we'll continue to monitor closely as the government shutdown continues. But I'm going to send it back to you guys in studio. For now, reporting from the River Food Pantry, Jalen Banks, News 3 Now.
In fact, so many people. Jalen, thank you. In other news tonight, the man accused of killing his partner and 2 young girls in New Lisbon last December pleads not guilty to those charges. Prosecutors say Virgil Thu killed Elizabeth Kolba along with 2 girls. Their bodies found at a New Lisbon home back on December 30th of last year. After several days on the run, he was caught on January 9th. Thu facing a number of charges, including first-degree intentional homicide.
To these charges, how do you plead? Not guilty. Okay.
Thu is being held on a $5 million cash bond. A 9-day jury trial has now been scheduled for December 1st of 2026.
Well, legal experts and community leaders gathered in Madison today to tackle a growing concern: access to justice in rural America. The Rural Justice Conference is shining a light on the barriers that many people face when they try to get legal help. The president of the Legal Services Corporation says that many deal with serious issues like eviction, domestic violence, veterans benefits, or disaster relief, but they have nowhere to turn.
There are too few lawyers. 41% of the counties in America are defined as legal deserts, where there's less than 1 lawyer per 1,000 residents. And so there are no lawyers, and historically, without a lawyer, you're out of luck.
So if you would like to get involved or learn more about free legal aid in your area, you can visit lsc.gov or contact Legal Action of Wisconsin or Wisconsin Judicare.
The next Beloit police chief has been chosen. The city's Police and Fire Commission announcing Commander Shanella Stewart accepted a conditional offer that includes a background check and formal approval by the commission. Stewart has 19 years of law enforcement experience and is currently serving as a unit commander in Oak Park, Illinois, near Chicago. She would succeed Andre Sales, who stepped down back in May and accepted a role with the Seattle Police Department.
Well, outside, those temperatures continue to be seasonable across the area.
Blaze, will the chills stick around for the weekend?
We are looking at slightly warmer temperatures, probably going to arrive, though, on Sunday. Saturday is looking to be a little bit on the more fall-like side after a seasonal Halloween. Before we get to Halloween and the weekend, we got to get through some fog likely to develop overnight into your Thursday morning. Probably going to stick around through at least the late morning hours, especially for folks further to the east, closer to Lake Michigan. You're going to be dealing with that time, some of that really patchy, dense fog. Make sure you're tuning in tomorrow morning to make sure if there's any dense fog advisories issued for where you live. Tonight, we're headed into those upper 20s to low 30s, a little bit more cloud cover, I would say, further to the west, mostly clear to partly cloudy, right around where we should be for this time of year in those mid to upper 30s. With Halloween right around the corner, what can we expect? Well, upper 40s to low 50s when it comes time for trick-or-treating, mostly cloudy, and we'll talk about this in the full forecast, but maybe a light shower mixing in with a few snowflakes. We're tracking that out in the full forecast.
All right, Blaze, thank you. The Madison School Board has approved its fall budget for the school district.
That's right. Arman Rahman breaks down what is in it and what it means for your property taxes.
That's right, Sarah and Eric. The new budget is roughly $668 million. The board also voted to raise the total tax levy to almost $480 million.
The district is in very good financial standings.
The roughly $668 million budget invests in K through 5 reading materials and expanding mental health supports, among other investments.
We have projects in the pipeline that will be completed this year.
The tax levy limit increase means the owner of an average Madison home will see an increase of about $684 on their property tax bill. But that number drops when you factor in the state's school levy tax credit. Back when the public was first hearing about the 2024 referendums, the projected levy impact was $994 for an average home.
We don't want to be too optimistic in terms of telling voters if you vote yes, this is what the average home tax increase would be. So we're quite a bit under our projected property tax impacts.
District teachers will also see a raise of 4.95%. There were concerns by teachers about the compressed pay scale for longer-term staff.
First, as someone involved in hiring new staff, I do appreciate that our district has increased starting salaries to attract new teachers and compete for talent. That was the right move. However, shaving off levels from the salary schedule, but not moving veteran staff to reflect their years of experience, that was the wrong move.
Assistant Superintendent of Financial Services Bob Solner says this was approved years ago.
It really becomes a 26-27 budget conversation.
The district budgeted that about $35 million would come from federal sources, the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, or IDEA, Title I funds for students in poverty, and federal reimbursement for breakfast and lunch for low-income students. That could be in jeopardy for the next budget if the government doesn't pay due to the shutdown or something else.
If those monies are not available, it creates a significant hole in our budget that we'd either have to reduce program expenditures somewhere else, or the state legislature would have to step up.
Now, the November 2024 operating referendum provides $100 million over 4 years and a $325 per student increase this year.
Armand, thank you. Several retailers and companies are ramping up seasonal hiring, while others have said they will be scaling back. Target recently announced it'll be adding seasonal jobs, but didn't specify how many. The news comes as the company cuts 1,800 corporate jobs. Amazon also announced mass corporate layoffs this week, but the company says it's still hiring 250,000 people for the busy shopping season. And the United States Postal Service adding 14,000 seasonal jobs, far less than the 40,000 just a few years ago. And the Federal Reserve cut its benchmark rate again, citing a continued weakening in the labor market. The quarter of a point cut brings the benchmark rate down to its lowest level since 2022. The government shutdown delayed key economic data, forcing the Fed to rely on private sector surveys instead. But the Bureau of Labor Statistics did release a belated consumer price index, which showed inflation at 3%, still above the Fed's 2% target rate.
The thinking is, I think it's appropriate that this is one-off. It's related to the tariffs. Once the tariffs settle down, and we all adjust, then the inflation will recede.
According to the Conference Board, one measure of American short-term outlook for income and job market conditions fell to 71.5. That's a number well below 80, and at typically 80 signals a recession could be on the horizon.
Well, before the season comes to a close, the city of Madison released its annual food cart review. 26 volunteers made their reviews based on topics like design, cleanliness, food flavor, creativity, and overall experience. Out of 100 points, Circo Peruvian Foods and Circo Cart 2 took the first and third spots. Now, to see the complete review and food cart rankings, we have a list on our website. That's channel3000.com at this story. So once next year's official map of vending locations is approved, the sites will be assigned by the City Street Vending Program based on rankings. Next season officially starts on April 15th.
A new community-focused art destination is set to open next week on Madison's west side. November 7th and 8th will be the grand opening of the Madison Art Market. It brings together the work of over 50 Wisconsin-based artists into one space, featuring original paintings, fine art prints, woodworking, and more. The market's owners say there are pieces priced for everyone.
You know, some people don't want to walk into a high-end gallery, or they don't feel comfortable with that, and we wanted to avoid that feeling. So there's price ranges from $5 all the way up to multiple $1,000s for originals or more high-end pieces.
Madison Art Market, located on Odana Road, and it'll be open daily from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Still to come at 6, an historic building at the Milwaukee County Zoo closes this weekend.
And there's a new resident making a name for himself at the Henry Vilas Zoo here. We'll get introduced to Siku the polar bear as he made his public debut this week. That's next.
News 3 now at 6.
Well, the public can now see the newest resident at the Henry Vilas Zoo.
You're going to take a look now at Siku. Look, this is the male polar bear. The 15-year-old, 1,200-pound bear comes from the Lincoln Park Zoo in Chicago. He arrived in Madison Friday and spent the weekend getting to know his enclosure as well as Barrett, the zoo's female bear.
Come on out, meet our bears. They're really amazing. Siku's been super playful since he's been here, so we're hopeful that he'll keep being a really fun guy for us.
Too sweet. The zoo is still awaiting the arrival, though, of Nora, another female polar bear. She's coming from the Oregon Zoo in Portland. The Henry Vilas Zoo said, though, it's waiting for the government to reopen so it can apply for transportation permits. And the Milwaukee Zoo's Small Mammals, I should say the Milwaukee County Zoo's Small Mammals building is set to close this coming Sunday. This is part of the zoo's strategic plan focusing on the future. They say it highlights its commitment to enhancing habitats, introducing new animals, and also creating experiences for the community. The small mammals have been relocated to other accredited facilities. And just so you know, a free admission day for the zoo in Milwaukee is planned for Saturday, but parking and regular attraction fees may still apply.
Still to come at 6, Blaze tells us if local trick-or-treaters will stay dry on Halloween.
And Hurricane Melissa strikes Jamaica and Cuba. The damage left behind from the storm of the century. Stay with us.
You're watching News 3 now at 6.
The U.S. is sending rescue and response teams to the Caribbean following Hurricane Melissa.
At least 25 people are dead in Haiti after a river overflowed, flooding homes. And in Jamaica, officials say 77% of the country is without power. Melissa came ashore as a Category 5 hurricane yesterday, with wind gusts topping 200 miles an hour. Jamaican authorities say 25,000 people are in shelters, and they're working on a long-term housing plan.
No one must be turned back from the shelters. No one.
There are similar scenes in Cuba where 700,000 are in shelters after Melissa hit as a Category 3. And turning to weather here, the First Warn Weather Team is keeping an eye on Hurricane Melissa along with our forecast. Blaze, what is the system? Where's that at right now?
Yeah, Melissa is currently passing through the Bahamas as a Category 1 hurricane with winds of 90 miles per hour with sustained gusts of 115. She does not have that very distinct eye, which is good. That shows at least weakening. A very clear eye is the markings of a strong, very organized hurricane. Her path will take her up up along the East Coast, but not making landfall, staying well out off of land there, passing Nova Scotia probably sometime later Halloween night into Saturday morning. And then by Monday of next week, she'll eventually be closer to Iceland, Greenland, as well as England. But she's not expected to really strengthen as she continues to make her way into cooler water. She's going to go from a Category 2 down to a Category 1 and then eventually a post-tropical system. But before all of that, she was tied with the Labor Day hurricane of 1935 as the third strongest hurricane in the Atlantic Ocean basin with a base minimum pressure of 892 millibars. When looking at pressure, this is a way for meteorologists to gauge how strong a low pressure system is or how strong a high pressure system is. The lower the number, the stronger the low. So she's tied again at 892 millibars with the Labor Day hurricane of 1935. Back at home, we are expecting quiet conditions on Halloween for the most part, maybe a light rain shower, but a high pressure system will eventually move on in, and that means that we're going to quiet down and warm up as we end the weekend and go into the start of next week. Low 50s tomorrow, maybe a few mid-50s out there with clouds moving in from the west towards the east. That's because our next low pressure system will be moving in out of Canada. But as it does, it's going to fall apart, not before bringing us that cloud cover again throughout the day on Thursday. By Friday, that low pressure system pretty much falls apart, but it will, with its northerly winds, pull down some moisture out of Superior, and that could lead to a few showers here or there as we head further into Friday afternoon. But if we stop future track at about 9 o'clock, those hit or miss light rain showers have been going on probably since about 7 further north, and they'll slide their way south as we go further into Halloween evening, overnight into Saturday. Maybe we get a few snowflakes with these rain showers. Rain and snow accumulations will be on the minimal side as temperatures continue to remain well above freezing. So any snow that we do see, and I'm not really banking on it, Friday night into Saturday will very quickly melt. So Halloween not looking too bad, upper 40s to low 50s by the time kids are collecting all the candy, mostly cloudy conditions with the rain shower chance continuing into Saturday. Remember, we fall back Saturday night into Sunday, so don't be late to the Packers game up there in Lambeau on Sunday when we're in the 50s. And then plenty of sunshine and warmer temperatures to start off next week.
Fall back already.
I'm excited for that extra hour of sleep.
That's true. That's true. Thank you, Blaze.
Badger men's basketball tonight against Platteville at the Kohl Center. Andrew Banstra live from campus coming up.
The preseason pushes on for Wisconsin men's basketball, who host UW Platteville tonight in an exhibition match that means a whole lot more than just hoops. Greg Gard and his brother Jeff, who is the head coach for the Pioneers, they schedule this scrimmage as much more than just a sibling rivalry, but as a way to raise money for their foundation guarding against cancer. But once both teams take the Kohl Center court, it'll be all business. Both squads are ranked heading into the season. Platteville pulls in at 18 in the Division III poll, and the Badgers are ranked 24th. Greg Gard says he's telling his guys those rankings, they don't mean a thing until they prove it.
Whether you get ranked right away, how high you get ranked, really that's irrelevant. I mean, you still have to go play the games, as I've talked to the team about. And, you know, we've been highly ranked. We haven't been ranked anywhere in between. You still have to go produce. You know, it's going to be a one day at a time, one game at a time mentality. I know that sounds a little cliche, but it's quite frankly how you have to go about it and how you have to approach life in general.
But one of those newcomers, if you ask my opinion, that will help the Badgers rise in those rankings is Nick Boyd. The senior guard has Final Four experience and provides Bucky a point guard that can assist as well as he can score. And you could say he's as excited as the Badger fans are to have him here in Madison.
Kind of like a dream come true, man, just playing at the highest level. I started out at FAU, then went to San Diego State. Just gradually, raising my level of play, and I feel like I'm ready to take a big step. Coming here, I kind of, didn't really expect how close-knit and tight-knit the organization would be and the program would be, but that's kind of shocked me in a way because I've been in some places where it's been really tight, but I see how tight-knit and family-like it is here. It's been fun, and then obviously just the city's been really surprising to myself. I kind of thought it would be like cornfields and stuff like that, but to have like a city-like feel, it's fun for people to come out and visit me. So that's what I kind of learned from it and been enjoying so far.
And we are just about 30 minutes away from tip-off from this Southwest Wisconsin scrimmage. It's going to be incredibly exciting. We'll see you back here at 10 with the highlights. For now at the Kohl Center, Andrew Banstra, News 3 Sports.
All right, Andrew, guard against guard. Should be fun to watch tonight. Thank you, sir.
And coming up tonight on News 3 Now at 10, we'll have continuing coverage after Hurricane Melissa tears through the Caribbean, along with the current position of the storm again tonight at 10. And speaking of that, we'll have coverage of Melissa with Blaze.
Yes,
and
yeah.
our own weather, too.
Yeah, I took a semester of tropical.
You guys have gotten your share of tropical forecasting.
Yeah.
This week.
We have, yeah. You know, thankfully, she's moving into colder water, so that's one of the things that will obviously keep her on the weaker side, but unfortunately, she had to obviously strengthen to Category 5 and cause a number of fatalities and obviously destruction, but for those now in the path, at least she'll be on the weaker side. So yeah, we'll take a look at where she's at tonight at 10. In the meantime, back at home, as we're maybe getting ready to plan out tomorrow, the kiddos will need that light winter jacket going to school, upper 30s to low 40s. A bit of some patchy fog will be possible before mostly cloudy conditions for the rest of Thursday into Friday.
All right, Blaze, thanks.
And thanks for watching so much. Coming up is Entertainment Tonight's next.
That's right. You can always find us streaming 24/7.